In the annals of lost treasures, one name whispers of unparalleled opulence and enduring mystery, the Amber Room. Commissioned in 1701 for the King of Prussia, it wasn't just a room, but a breathtaking work of art. Imagine walls lined not with wallpaper or paint, but with over 6 tons of lustrous, sun-kissed amber. These panels were masterfully carved and backed with gold leaf, creating a space that glowed from within. Intricate mosaics and sculptures, all fashioned from this prehistoric resin, adorned every surface of the chamber. Florentine artists contributed stunning gemstone inlays, adding diamonds, emeralds, and rubies to the dazzling display. Contemporaries who witnessed it were left breathless, struggling to find words for its magnificent honeyed glow. It was considered the 8th wonder of the world, a testament to Baroque artistry and royal power. The room was designed to be modular, a puzzle of immense value that could be disassembled and moved. This portability, intended as a feature, would ultimately seal its mysterious and uncertain fate in the years to come. In 1716, the fate of the Amber Room took a significant turn, becoming a pawn in European diplomacy. Prussian King Frederick William I was visited by Russia's formidable leader, Peter the Great, a man with grand ambitions. Peter the Great was mesmerized by the room, admiring its beauty and the incredible craftsmanship on display. The Prussian king, more interested in military might than artistic treasures, saw an opportunity for a powerful alliance. He offered the entire Amber Room to the Russian Tsar as a gift, a gesture to cement their newfound partnership. In return, Peter the Great gifted Frederick William I a contingent of his famously tall and disciplined grenadiers. The priceless room was carefully disassembled, packed into 18 large crates, and prepared for its journey eastward. The overland journey to St. Petersburg was arduous, a procession of immense value traveling across the European plains. The Amber Room had left its birthplace, embarking on a new chapter of its life in the burgeoning Russian Empire. This act of friendship, sealed with a gift of unparalleled beauty, would have consequences no one could have foreseen. Upon its arrival in Russia, the Amber Room was destined for a place of honor and opulence. It was installed in the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg before finding its final home in the Catherine Palace. The room it was to occupy was larger than its original design, presenting a new artistic challenge. Under the direction of Empress Elizabeth, Italian designer Bartolomeo Rastrelli oversaw its expansion and perfection. Russian craftsmen added more amber panels, gilded carvings, and grand mirrors to fill the larger space. The mirrors were strategically placed to reflect the candlelight, creating an illusion of infinite, glowing space. By 1770, the room was complete, larger and even more magnificent than its original Prussian incarnation. It became the crown jewel of the Catherine Palace, a private retreat for empresses and a marvel for foreign dignitaries. For nearly 2 centuries, it stood as a symbol of Russian imperial splendor, seemingly safe and eternal. But the tranquility was not to last. History was turning a dark page, and the room's golden age was ending. As the 1930s gave way to a new decade, a storm was gathering over Europe, unlike any seen before. The rumblings of a massive conflict grew louder, and the safety of cultural treasures became a grave concern. In Russia, officials at the Catherine Palace knew the Amber Room was in a precarious position. The advancing front lines of a great continental struggle were moving steadily eastward towards Leningrad. Panic set in. Curators and staff rushed to evacuate the palace's countless treasures, packing them away. They worked day and night, a desperate race against time to save centuries of art and history. But when they reached the Amber Room, they faced a daunting and heartbreaking realization about its condition. The treasure they needed to move was far more delicate than they had ever imagined it to be. The years had taken their toll on the ancient resin, making it dry, brittle, and fragile. The room that was designed to be moved could no longer withstand the journey. It was trapped. With evacuation impossible, the curators resorted to a desperate plan. They would try to hide it in plain sight. Their attempt was crude, but born of necessity. They decided to cover the priceless walls with ordinary wallpaper. First, a layer of gauze was applied, then cotton wool, and finally, the mundane patterned paper. The hope was that the invading forces, in their haste, would overlook this one room, deeming it unremarkable. It was a flimsy disguise for the world's most magnificent treasure, a thin veil of paper against an iron tide. As the final pieces of paper were put in place, the room's signature golden glow was extinguished. The curators could only hope their desperate gamble would pay off, that the legend was not widely known. But the fame of the Amber Room was its own worst enemy. The legend had spread far and wide. The approaching forces knew exactly what they were looking for. They were coming for their long-lost Prussian treasure. The flimsy wallpaper disguise would prove to be no obstacle at all. The room's fate was sealed. In the autumn of 1941, uniformed figures entered the now eerily quiet Catherine Palace. They carried with them blueprints and knowledge of the palace's greatest secret. They knew where to look. The wallpaper disguise was discovered almost immediately. A simple tap on the wall revealed the hollow space behind. With the paper torn away, the golden treasure was revealed once more, gleaming under the intruders' flashlights. They viewed it not as plunder, but as the rightful reclamation of a piece of their own heritage. Under the supervision of art history experts, a systematic disassembly began. This was no smash and grab. It took them just 36 hours. The entire room was carefully pried from the walls, panel by panel. Each piece was meticulously numbered, cataloged, and packed into specially prepared crates for the journey west. The room was packed into 27 crates and loaded onto transports, leaving Russia for the first time in 2 centuries. Left behind was a hollow, empty space, a ghost of the opulence that had once filled the palace. The journey of the crated treasure ended in the German city of Königsberg, the historic capital of Prussia. It was here, in the city where it was first conceived, that the Amber Room was brought home. Inside Königsberg Castle, the room was painstakingly reassembled in a museum hall, a prize on display. For a short time, the public could once again witness the splendor of the long-lost Prussian masterpiece. Photographs taken during this period are the last known verifiable images of the original Amber Room in existence. But the tide of the Great Conflict was turning. The safety of Königsberg was no longer guaranteed. In late 1943, the museum director, Alfred Rode, was ordered to once again disassemble the precious room. The panels were packed back into their crates and moved to the castle's deep, fortified cellars for safekeeping. This was the last time the Amber Room was seen intact by anyone who could provide a clear account. From this point forward, the trail of the eighth wonder of the world goes cold, dissolving into rumor. In 1944, the city of Königsberg faced immense destruction from intense aerial bombardments by Allied forces. The historic castle, where the Amber Room was stored, was heavily damaged in the ensuing infernos. The museum director, Alfred Rode, reported that the crates containing the room had survived the initial devastation. But what happened next is the core of the mystery. The crates simply vanished from the castle's cellars. One theory suggests the room was consumed by fire in the chaos, the amber turning to ash. However, amber burns with a very distinct, sooty smoke, and no witnesses ever reported such a phenomenon. Another, more popular theory is that the crates were secretly moved in the final, desperate days. Were they loaded onto a ship, which was later sunk in the Baltic Sea by submarines? Or were they hidden in one of the many secret mines or bunkers scattered throughout the region? When Soviet forces finally took the city, they found a ruined castle and no trace of the treasure. In the aftermath of the Great Continental Struggle, the hunt for the Amber Room began in earnest. Both Soviet and East German authorities formed special commissions dedicated to solving the perplexing mystery. They interviewed hundreds of people and chased down every rumor, no matter how outlandish it seemed. The trail led them to abandoned bunkers, sealed-off silver mines, and remote castles across Central Europe. Treasure hunters, both amateur and professional, became obsessed, dedicating their lives to the search. Over the years, a few tantalizing clues have surfaced, only to lead to more dead ends. In 1997, a single mosaic from the room appeared, seized from a German man trying to sell it. His father had been one of the men who packed the room, proving that at least some of it survived. But despite ground-penetrating radar, dives to shipwrecks, and endless excavation, the crates remain lost. The search for the Amber Room has become a modern legend, a quest for a treasure that vanished. In 1979, the Soviet government, despairing of ever finding the original, made a momentous decision. They would build a new Amber Room from scratch in the same empty space within the Catherine Palace. Using the old black and white photographs and the single recovered mosaic, Russian artisans began the colossal task. It took 24 years and over 40 specialists, relearning lost techniques of amber carving and gilding. Finally, in 2003, the new Amber Room was unveiled to the world, a stunning tribute to the lost original. Today, it stands as a symbol of resilience and the enduring power of art against destruction. But the mystery of the original remains. Is it lying in a watery grave at the bottom of the sea? Is it hidden deep underground, waiting in the dark for a lucky explorer to stumble upon it? Or was it truly destroyed by fire, its beauty reduced to smoke and ash, lost to the world forever? The treasure vanished without a trace, but its legend glows as brightly as the room itself, eternally captivating.